Cassia Carr. I'm a Tulsa native. I love Tulsa. I love taking people to Tulsa things. And I was taking people to cool Tulsa things way before Tulsa even started being cool.
Yes.
I mean, I'd be like, hey, we got to get out of South Tulsa. I'd take you down to the museums and take you to the Reservoir Hills and this places that make Tulsa special and unique. So now that we actually have stuff, it's getting even better. But I am an attorney. My first job was at PepsiCo as a district manager. So I went to ORU and did international business in Spanish. I was a part of a group called the Students in Free Enterprise. And we would start little groups, like I taught financial literacy in a couple of schools. Some of the kids had an overseas project where they were helping these farmers in the Dominican make these sustainable farms. And we took our projects and presented them in different regional competitions. And we got to nationals. One was in Chicago, and PepsiCo was hosting it. And on the spot, I gave a speech about my financial literacy program. On the spot, they pulled me back to interview me and offered me a job at PepsiCo. At the Tulsa base, which was Frito-Lay.
That's awesome.
And so I always tell college students, I'm like, when you're in college, there are some things you can do for fun, some things you can do to get you a job. And Students in Free Enterprise for the business kids was where it was at, because all these companies, Campbell's Soup, these big companies that kind of never come to places like Tulsa were at these competitions, and all of them were interviewed on the spot. And when I worked at Pepsi, they sent me as a recruiter, and I would go to the Students in Free Enterprise competitions and pull people out and interview them on the spot. But anyways, and so I did that for 3 years. And that was hard. So Frito-Lay, we had several different go-to-market strategies for those chips. And all of my salesmen got paid commission, straight commission. And they'd make like $60,000 a year. It's a good job. Didn't have to have a college education to be a route salesperson. But three different models. Our first model was, the little trucks that all the chips are in them, and I'm going to the small convenience stores, like a Quick Trip and 7-Eleven. We don't have those here. Something like that. The second model was your big trucks. So for part of the time, I'd drive this large truck and take these big boxes of chips to like Walmart. By the end of the time I was doing that, we changed our strategy, and these semis would drop the product at Walmart and you put it down on the shelf. And the third way was these little small towns like Cushing and Nowata. There would be a big shed about the size of this room out somewhere, and the product would be dropped off there. And I would go there and I would count it up like my old little warehouse. Go there every morning, load my truck, and then go deliver to all the stores. So 3 different ways. So I did that for a year training so that I could be the manager of those people. And then I was their manager for 3 years. Wow. So that was hard. And I was 21 years old, and all of my salesmen that were in their 35 was the youngest to 65, having to listen to me. So the way I got them to listen to me is I just went out and worked with them all the time. Let them teach me. And then I'd be like, okay, so the new product's going to be this. They're like, we don't want to sell that. I'm like, hey, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. So anyways, that was my first career, and then I was retired for a second and had a baby, and then went to law school when that little baby was 3 months old. And I was pregnant. I was pregnant my whole last year of law school.
Wow.
Graduated 3 days later, had the other baby.
Wow.
So I had an infant studying for the bar. And I remember thinking, I'm like, if anybody has an excuse to fail, but I can't fail. I got these kids. So anyways, passed the bar, and I worked at a large private law firm, large for here, not large nationally, but large for Oklahoma, private law firm for about 2 years. Then I went to a small firm, Winters and King, that specializes in nonprofit law, which is interesting. And now I work at Williams as an attorney.
Grandma said,
So
nonprofit law.
nonprofit. Which nonprofit, honestly, nonprofit law is just for-profit businesses with that special little element of tax.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So anyways, I'm an attorney at Williams, and that's what I do now. I'm married to my high school sweetheart, and we have 2 kids. So 3 and 6.
He's a sweetheart.
He's precious, yeah. He does construction. He actually builds churches all over the country right now, is what he does. But he does construction management. He's worked in several jobs doing that.
I was trying to, last second, see if I could find a picture of you with the kids and your hubby to put up there. Because they're so cute.
Oh, my passport or something?
Yes.
I got it on my phone.
They're just really cute.
They're very cute. They're
Next week.
a lot of curly hair.
Yes, lots of curly hair.
So, anyways, yes, I don't have a PowerPoint, but I do like to talk about financial literacy. First, I'm trying to figure out, because I'm sure everybody has different levels of what that means.
Yes.
And so, basically, I'm going to have to ask some questions to see where everybody's at.
Yeah.
Does everybody have a bank account?
Yes.
Yeah, I have one.
Does anybody not have a bank account? Okay.
All right.
All right, not starting too low. We have bank accounts. Does anybody have any investment accounts?
Yep. I have a OENDA, NADA explanatory options, and LMFX, but I lost the password to that, so those are not that no more. But I have Forex and binary options.
Okay, do you have something? Oh, how about you?
Yeah, I've got a Roth set up,
Okay.
and yeah, it's some basic stuff that I can fool around with on Robinhood.
That's good. I didn't even heard of Robinhood, so you guys are good. But a Roth, okay, great. Anybody else?
We have an annuity.
All right. I mean, so I think the most important thing first is okay. We have bank accounts for understanding, but when we're talking about investments, and this is what we talk about all the time when I was back in business school, is the time value of money. Does anybody know what the time value of money means?
Mm-mm.
Anybody? I'm gonna take a stab at it. The time value of money works for you and against you. So the time value of money is interest accumulating over time. It works for you in your Roth. So in a Roth IRA, there's a difference between a Roth IRA and a 401k. A Roth, when he puts money into it, it's already taxed. The taxes are taken out. So when he looks at his little investment, let's say he's got $3,000 in it. And it's growing because it's on interest. Whatever money he sees is the money he's going to get because he already paid his taxes. But other investment schemes like a 401k that usually is offered through a job, it's not taxed until it gets pulled out. Okay. But he sees that, and when he puts money in there, and it's gaining interest at, let's just say, 5% to make it simple, he's got to leave it in there, and over time, that 5% continues to grow. So first he had $3,000, and then he had $3,100, and then interest on that, and then he had $3,200. He hasn't had to put any more money in it. Just leaving it there with the 5% growth, over time, it grows. And that's why investment portfolios are only helpful if you're going to leave them there. That's what they're for. For you to leave them there, and then you see the money grow, see the money work for you. Time value of money works against you when you're in debt. So let's say you have a credit card. A credit card, the interest rate on a credit card goes from 12% to 21%, depending on your credit.
How many have a credit card?
Okay, so what I'm hearing is we have people that don't know what the time value of money is, but you have a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. So let's say you have a credit card, okay, and you put money on it, and you didn't pay it off. Now, a credit card is basically getting a loan. Every single time you use your credit card, you're getting a loan. And they give you about 30 days to pay it back, give or take whatever credit you have. So I put $300 on my credit card. I have 30 days to pay it off and not get charged. So a straight up free loan. And some of those credit cards have little, if you spend money on it, you gain points. So I get it. That could be cool if you pay it off.
Yep.
But most people don't. So you put $300 on it, you don't pay it off the next cycle, or you just pay a little chunk. Now an interest rate gets put on it. So let's say that it's let's make it easy, it's 10% interest. It's never gonna be that. But it's 10% interest, so now your $300 has just upped to $330. And going into next month, now $330, if you don't pay that off again, 10% more on top of $330 goes into the next month. So now your debt is growing without you putting any more money on it. Without you spending any more money, debt grows against you. Without him putting any more money in his investment account, his investment grows for him. So we want the time value of money to grow for us. Every single one of you should have a bank account, just a debit account so you can pay your bills. I think you should have a savings account that has a certain amount of money in it. I'll talk to you about that again in a second. A savings account grows a little bit of interest, but not much. And you should all have already a retirement account. That's going to be your Roth. A Roth is an easiest one to start if you're not working for a company that offers a 401k. You go down to Fidelity. You can do this online. It takes you 2 seconds. I opened up 2 little extra investments account last week just because I want to have, just to be fun. You go in there, you sign up, you open up a Roth, you put $100 in it or whatever. And you let that money grow for you. You should all have an investment portfolio. And the thing that's good about Fidelity and many other accounts they have online that are so simple, they'll do all the investing for you. They'll go out and you can just pick a thing, write this down, called a block account. A block account, depending on your age, has a mix of stocks and bonds and maybe some other fun things. But the basic one are stocks and bonds. People that are younger want to have stocks because they have high yield but a high risk. So let's say that you could possibly gain 15% over a year on stocks, a stock investment. But it's a little risky. You could lose a lot. let's say you could lose 15%. Because you hear of the S&P 500. Anybody know what the S&P 500? Standard & Poor's 500 is all about the 500 top companies that are the ones that you're buying stocks in when you are investing. That's the S&P 500. Okay, so
what is
Standard & Poor's? It's called Standard & Poor's. That doesn't matter. It's somebody's names. It doesn't matter. But the Standard & Poor's 500 means these are top companies, like PepsiCo.
Right.
You've got top 100 companies too. But anyways, those are the ones you're buying stocks in. So let me go back. Let me back up. So anyways, a stock may have a high rate of return, which is good, but it could be risky. You could lose that money. All right? Bonds have a lower rate of return, so maybe only a 5% return, but they're pretty steady. They're low risk. So when you get a block account, they're going to say, oh, she's 23 years old. The investors that do it for you, I'm going to put most of her investments in stocks because she's got a lot of time before she's going to take this out and retire. Don't usually touch these things until you're in your 50s, okay? But I'm going to give her a little bit of bonds, but no stock. And as she grows, as she gets older, it changes to have more bonds and less stocks. That's a block account. So I want you to have one retirement account that you think you're going to leave it in there until you're 59 and a half, actually, something like that. Because if you take it out early, you get penalized. And then I want you to open up another investment account that isn't for that long. That's really for as long as you want to put it in there. And also, so easy to do on Fidelity. You just open it up. You can say, you know what? I have this one account just opened up. I'm going to do all the investing myself just to be fun. I put $100 in it a month. I'm letting it grow for a while. When I get to about $2,000, I'm going to go out there and buy myself a couple of stocks. See if I can do it myself for fun. But what's more helpful with things like Fidelity and Vanguard is that they do it for you. So you can say, okay, I want my retirement account and I want to have a little 6-year investment account. Sign up for it. I want you to put it in a mutual fund, which just means it's going to be several different kinds of stocks and bonds and companies they have involved. They'll have some energy companies. I work for Williams. They'll have some energy companies. They'll have some retail companies, all different kinds. And I'm going to let Fidelity investors pick the different stocks I want for that thing and let it grow itself. They take a tiny little fee. Yeah.
So you're saying this Fidelity and Vanguard, how do you is that a website that I go to? Is that
Yeah. So Fidelity, www.fidelity.com.
It's just a website. Okay.
Is and Fidelity actually has a location at 21st and Lewis if you want to just walk on in there. But yeah, Fidelity's in Vanguard are good ones. There's so many though. If you go online and you look for investment online investment groups, you can find them. But I like Fidelity and Vanguard because they're super vetted. I know, and they're easy. Fidelity is easy.
So you said they're super vetted. So for those that I love that you said that, because then how do you say someone wants to investigate another one? How do you know?
Well, okay, you definitely want to see that someone is FDIC. FDIC just means that the federal government has ensured that if you give them money and you want to take it out, they got money. Don't ever use a bank that's not FDIC. I don't think there really can be a bank operating anymore. But when you're going online, you're going into strange territory. That's why I think it's safe to say Fidelity. And Fidelity is so easy. I've not seen one that's easier than Fidelity. For me to go on there and 5 minutes later, I've got another investment account I've opened up. Okay, so we kind of jumped into deep waters quickly. Let's go straight. Let's go back to having a debit account. So I want to have you got to have a debit card account because we're just not really living in the age we just have cash all the time. I do myself when it comes to budgeting. I make a little budget on Excel. I do like to take out my my coffee and fun money. I give myself $150 every paycheck that's just for me to go have coffee, have lunch, go out with my friends, and I'm not with my family. Just something I'm doing for myself. I take that money out.
Side note, she's an attorney.
Yeah.
So your budget right now
Oh,
is probably not going to be $150
Don't worry about the
a
money.
paycheck.
Don't worry about the amounts. But I do like to. Dave Ramsey is a really famous Christian person. He talks about taking money out in cash and how in the envelope system how it can be helpful. I don't do all my money like that, but I do take out my spending money because I see it in my hands. And I'm like, well, do I want to go out with my friends to lunch? Well, I've got $10 left. Maybe I shouldn't. So anyways, that's just mad money.
So
I take out my grocery money because I'm like, okay, I give myself a certain amount of groceries. But anyways, however you do it, make yourself a budget. But in your budget, you should have budgeted your savings money. That's budgeted. So you say, let's say you made $1,000 every 2 weeks. Well, you've got the bills that are due. You're gonna have to split it up into the 15th and the 30th, because most people are paid twice a month, split up like that. And you'll see that sometimes some of your bigger bills all come, let's say you're bill heavy the last part of the month. You want to make sure you have enough money left over from the first paycheck for that. So put your budget like that, the 15th, the 30th. And so I've got my budget out, I've got my utility bills, I've got my car. Be honest with yourself. A really good website to start this one is mint.com.
Yes.
Mint.com, you can hook up all of your accounts and you can track your spending for a month. Track your spending and then see how you need to budget. Because you might think, oh, I only need $100 for groceries, and you see you're spending $200. Now you can ask yourself some hard questions. Maybe I'm eating too much food, or what? Maybe I change that. But track your spending for a month, then make your budget. So budget, you've got your groceries, you got utilities, you got your living, and then you put your savings in your budget. So you don't save after you spend all your money, whatever's left over. No. That goes from the beginning. If some jobs are really helpful, they'll let you split your check up, so that I can, at my company, I can get my my savings money sent to my savings account immediately, so that the only money I see hitting my debit account is the money I can actually spend.
That's good.
So see if your company offers that. Most do. Most companies will let you at least send your money 2 or 3 different places. So anyways, but the big thing is we're budgeting our savings into that thing, okay? Now, so that's what we need a debit account for. It's going to be very hard for you to operate as a citizen in America without a debit account. I mean, only using cash is going to be difficult. So I had that. I think you need to have a savings account for emergency funds, because when you put something into an investment account, you don't want to touch it. And they make it difficult for you to touch it. Now, you definitely don't want to touch money in a retirement account, because they penalize you for that if you're less than 59 years old. But when you're putting something into a short-term investment, you want to put it there for it to grow. The time value of money does not work for you if it's not sitting there for a long time to grow. Also, if you put money into an investment account and you want to take it out, they don't necessarily penalize you. There's some steps. You don't want to do that. But you want in your savings account, I would say, Dave Ramsey gives a good thing to start with $1,000. Save up in your savings account to have $1,000. And until you have $1,000 in your savings account, I would say don't do the investment yet. Or whatever number you think you should have. Yeah.
So I was going to start an emergency fund in a checking account, just in case there was an emergency and I had to use like my debit card or whatever.
Okay.
Should I do it in a savings account instead?
Well, this is one reason I'd say savings. It's a good question. Savings accounts only let you withdraw money about 6 times a month, or else they penalize you. So the point of it is to sit there. Sometimes the savings account, depending on which one you have, it may take you 3 days to get your money. Maybe. I think I'm thinking online accounts. I have like Ally. But I think BOK, you can have a savings account and transfer that money into your debit. I think it's still better to put in a savings account, because in your mind you need to think, this is savings money. This isn't debit money. This is not, I'm running low on my spending money. I really want to go to that concert. I'm going to take it from my savings account. That's not really what savings I'm talking about. After you have your emergency fund built up, which I say start with $1,000, and you're getting wealth, and you are going to have lots of different savings accounts, it doesn't matter as much. But at first, I should think you definitely differentiate it. Like, this is money that I'm putting it in an account that is telling me not to take it out, because they're going to penalize me if I do too many times. So I'd say save up $1,000. That's a good base to start with. As you have more money, you may want to. You may feel more comfortable having more. Like, I tell a lot of my friends that have been working for a long time in good jobs, $10,000 in a savings account. Anything over $10,000 in a savings account, I think you're being a bad steward of your money, because a savings account does not grow. It might grow at 5%, at 0.5%. It's just to have money on hand. But over and above that, now if you're a brain surgeon, you make $800,000. Maybe you want to have $100,000 in that. I don't know. But for, I think, normal, hardworking folks, $10,000 in a savings account is great. Any money over and above that, I put that in an investment account. But if you're starting out in your career, think $1,000 in a savings account. Then you know what? I'm going to start. I'm going to start putting that extra money into a little investment accounts and stuff like that. And you can adjust that, what you think you want to have in your savings, as you have more money. But I would just say that it's so simple to have some of these investment accounts. I still would say after 1,000, open those. Definitely open a retirement account as soon as you start working. Because you think your retirement account, you want that to be growing for a good 30 years, so that when you retire, that's the point. You can maybe stop working. It depends on what kind of lifestyle you want to have that says how much money you need, and it depends on the good or bad decisions you make when you're the age you have right now. I mean, I think that when you retire, you'd like to have a home that's paid off. You don't have to worry about that, and minimal debt. And as younger people, we're making those decisions now that set us up for that. And I think that honestly, in our generation, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like more and more people are seeing that to them wealth is being debt-free and as independent with their funds as possible. Not so much like I feel like my parents' generation was like, wealth was, oh, I have a giant house and I have a boat and all these things, and I'm still paying for those things. That's not really, I feel like how most people are like, you know what, actually, we want to have, being rich is, I actually own my things. So anyways, I'm saying a lot of stuff. Let me back up, and so we're making points here. We want to have a debit account that is going to be taking care of all of our bills, our day-to-day spending. That's money that's going to be running through. You're running through that money. You want your savings account that needs to be in your budget, so it comes out immediately. You get paid, savings comes out immediately. In your savings account, I would target for $1,000 starting out, that you have that saved up in your savings account. 2 investment portfolios. One needs to be retirement, that you're putting whatever, $100 in it a month, whatever you can do to start out. It doesn't matter. $100 in it a month, and you're setting it there to forget it in a retirement account, which Fidelity will help you with that. After you have $1,000 in that savings account, I'd start up another investment account that's not a retirement account. So you can take the money out whenever you want, but in your mind you're thinking, I'm going to make this retirement account, I'm going to set it and forget it for a good 6 years, and let's see how it grows. And once again, you put whatever extra money you have in there. I started one Roth IRA when I was at PepsiCo because I got a little bonus. It was only $750, and I just put it in a Roth. That thing is worth thousands of dollars now, and I've never put any more money in it. I just set it there, never added anything else to it. That's how those things work, but they work over time. And that's how you build wealth, is letting the time value of money work for you. And,
Which one has the more interest rate, the Roth or the investment account?
well, they're both investment accounts.
Yeah.
When I say Roth, I'm thinking retirement account. That's usually what that's for. But they're both the same idea, that you can set that up how you want it to be, how aggressive you want it to be.
That's based on risk.
It's based on risk. Some of the investment accounts that you can open up that are retirement accounts can be a little more poignant. Like I'm just in the energy industry, or I'm just gonna invest in the, foreign markets. That's not like I don't even know. That's why I got the Fidelity guy doing it, because I can only be an expert in so many things.
Can I ask a question? So none of you might be thinking this way, but I know that when I was your age, my thought process was, I have plenty of time to do that.
Yeah.
I'm broke, so I'm not trying to take from my, today when I barely have for today. What would you say to that?
Well, time catches up to you, and you have to think, we need time for the time value of money. Even if you only had $25 a month, put it into your investment portfolio. It's that easy. I don't think it was that easy 15 years ago,
Right.
but it is now. You open up your Fidelity, you will be shocked, and you see how easy it is. You open up your Fidelity investment account. I opened up one with $100 just a couple months ago. I was like, because I stopped paying for something and I had an extra $100. I had a life insurance policy I was paying for that I stopped paying for. So I got through my job and I was like, I have an extra $100. What am I gonna do? Well, I'm gonna open up a little investment account. Go on Fidelity, open it up, $100. Just put it in there, $100. And now I have coming out of my check $100 that goes in there once a month, and I'll put it in there and I'll buy some stock. You could put $25 in there. You could put $5 in there. It doesn't matter. Put it in there and have money grow for you. Put it in there and invest it yourself if you'd like to do that. Or put it in there and tell the Fidelity people, I'd like you to invest it. They do take a little fee when they're moving your things around, but it's not like It's their nominal fees. And so have that $5 be working for you. And so it's like this. You got to pay your bills. So you're gonna have to have your necessities. You got to eat, right? You got to have a place to stay, and you have to have clothes. Now, how much you spend on those things, I think usually is what's getting us.
Yes.
It's not that you don't have any money to invest. It's that you want to buy certain kinds of clothes. Now, and I'm not even saying that you're wanting, Prada jackets. I don't even know if she makes correct. Oh, here, what it is. but you might be in a time in your life that honestly, you should go shop at Goodwill. My mother-in-law calls the Goodwill the boutique. I have Goodwill clothes on all the time. Because I know my little ritzy friends take clothes with tags on them and take them to the Goodwill. Because they never got a chance to wear them. So I go there. But I'm saying that Dave Ramsey says this well, there was a guy that called his show complaining because he had a friend that bought a Maserati. And he told Dave, isn't that just ridiculous that he do that? Dave Ramsey's like, well, how much money does he make? Oh, well, he's a millionaire. He's like, well, Maserati to him doesn't mean anything. That's not a lot for him. He's a millionaire. Doesn't matter. It's all about it's the how do I say it? It's the proportion of how much you make. So if I'm only making $500 a month, I should be probably shopping at Goodwill. It's not bad. You can get good clothes there, And if I shopped at Goodwill, I would maybe have money left over for my investment accounts. Now, if I'm making a certain amount of money and trying to live at a higher lifestyle, well, yeah, I'm not going to have enough money. So, and I'll tell you this, the idea and principle behind budgeting and the kind of self-discipline it takes does not have to do with how much money you make. It's the same thing as being clean. You think cleanliness, only rich people are clean. No. If someone is someone who is clean, has a clean house and clean clothes, it doesn't matter how much money they make. They're just clean people. You'll be filthy as a millionaire, or filthy poor. Same thing with budgeting. You learn how to budget with what you have. You always live beneath your means so that you can save, and then you'll be able to grow wealth. So if all I did is put $10 a month into my investment account, but it's growing, I'm going to come out more ahead, and I'm going to have I'm going to have the discipline already banked into my psyche and who I am, so that when I make more money, I'll continue to save and invest. Because you will be shocked when you start to make more money, how at every level of money you make, the people making the same amount of money that you make, and they say that they're just so poor, they don't have anything. And my husband and I have always talked about this, where we've gone through times where when we first got married and both started working, I think that we were making like $140,000 between the two of us, with no kids, with a tiny, tiny house payment, because we bought a tiny house. We felt so rich. I put 20% of my paycheck into my 401k at my job. We basically lived off his money, saved a ton of money, because we didn't have a lot of bills, we didn't have kids, and we didn't have we didn't go out and buy a bunch of junk, right? But then I went to law school, so we had our income was cut in half. He was making more money by the time, but still cut in half, and we got through that just fine. I start working, we're making a ton of money. I didn't like that job after 2 years, and money wasn't making me want to stay, so I left and took a little pay cut. And I always think, wow, somehow, with a lot or with a little, we always seem to have money and have savings and be fine. It's because we have developed the habits of buying things we can afford, not spending much stuff on credit cards. And I'll tell you this, I can't help but do this because I know money. People tell me what their job is. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking, okay, you make $60,000. Okay, cool. How in the world do you have all this stuff? I'm thinking to myself, how do you have all this stuff? You are drowning in debt.
Yeah.
Unless you're a trust fund baby. It's always a possibility somebody's a trust fund baby, but there ain't that many trust fund babies, right? So I'm thinking, drowning in debt. That's what you're doing. And you're setting yourself up to one day, it's all going to all blow up, or you're going to have to work forever. And it's not good. My boss used to tell me this at PepsiCo. He goes, oh, I love when y'all go out and buy them big old trucks, because now I know you're going to keep working here. Because my dad, you got to pay for that truck. My dad's like, hey, my dad goes, keep yourself as debt-free as possible so that you can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like when I left one law firm and went to this moment, I took a big pay cut. I think it made $15,000 maybe. That's substantial, $15,000 to $20,000. But I was like, you know what? I don't like this job, I'm not happy here, I'm gonna like the other one better. And I can do that. You can't hang it over my head because I don't need the money.
Right.
I don't need it. I mean, I might need it if I was running around with Louis Vuitton shoes. I might need it if I had bought all the junk that all the other associates had bought, but I didn't. And so I don't need that because we don't find our value in things. Another thing is, to help with budgeting and money altogether is you got to find out where you find your value and where you find your pleasure in life. And I think it's best to find your pleasure in life in things like this, being with people and building community.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much money you have to do that. Some of the happiest people I know are some of the, not poor, but the least wealthy people I know. And that all they do is they get together, we play cards, we have fun at people's houses. You don't need money for that. You need a little bit of money. Somebody gets to bring the hot dogs, somebody bring the buns, get to the house, and we play games. You know, you don't gotta go to Mahogany's every night. You don't have to go to. You don't have to go to. Gosh, you go to McDonald's sometimes spend $15. You don't gotta go to McDonald's every night. You know, and so finding friends that have the same mindset you have about living a debt free as possible, like stress-free as possible life, that's helpful.
Come on.
I mean, I listen to these podcasts about money, and some people will call in and say, gosh, I think I gotta get new friends. My friends just want to go out every night. There's a really funny Kevin Hart's short, if you've ever seen this, where he's like, I got these friends, I went out with these basketball players, you know, man, we had so much fun, we did this, we did this, we did this, we did this, and the next day they said, Kev, let's go out again. He's like, whoa, wait, I got a checking and I got a savings, and my savings account is online. It'll take me 3 days to get my money. I mean, sometimes you might have to change friends if they're just not going down the same path as you are with this, because, and no, it seems silly. You always think to yourself, oh, change friends because they're doing drugs. Changing friends because of their spending habits, I mean, it's a real thing, especially when you get married and have kids and you're trying to spend time with other families and they spend, go ahead.
Sorry, well,
Go
I
ahead.
mean, whenever you're done, I just want to know what podcast you listen to.
Oh, okay, let me think. Which one? Well, I'll listen to Dave Ramsey. You'll learn a lot of this on the Dave Ramsey show.
Yeah.
And what I like with the Dave Ramsey show is that people will call in with their problems. Sometimes it stresses you out because you're like $80,000 with a credit card debt. I don't even know how you get there.
Right.
But you also hear people's success stories, and I appreciate that. They'll call in and they'll say, we got debt free, this is how we did it. And people paying off large amounts of debt with not a lot of money. Like, okay, we make $50,000 a year. We paid off $20,000 of the debt. Like, they just said, we're going to do this. And we're going to focus and then get it. And so I like his. I also like to listen to Marketplace Money, which Marketplace Money is through NPR. That sometimes I'm like, NPR, they're really liberal. But I do like Marketplace Money. And people just call in talking about money things. And they kind of keep you up to date on just some different market trends and things out there. So that's a fun one. Does anybody else have a question? Yeah, so analyze your friends. They could be helping you or hurting you with your finances. But yeah, and what you find pleasure in. And sometimes, you know, if you want to you really want to focus on getting your investment started and paying off debt, you kind of have to think you're spending. Now, what am I doing? Like this year, I made a resolution I would always buy coffee on the way to work. And I'm very picky on my coffee. Very, very, very picky. So I quit doing it for 2 reasons. One, it stresses me out. Because I go to the coffee store and I'm like, okay. I go to like, let's say my Shades of Brown or I'm like, okay. I want you to make me Americano. But I like it to be strong. I don't put too much water in it. Do you hear me? I mean, like my best friend's the same way. We're always like, Candace, we're always like,
Yes, I was gonna say.
We're like, and we text, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, my coffee's awful. So anyways, or I'd be like, whatever. So
Wait, pause that thought. When I told you we had our, like, finally after 2 years of trying to have lunch together, got to have lunch because we were running an errand to Costco.
Yeah.
She's so thrifty, it was to return a bag of coffee beans that she didn't like.
I'm like,
Yeah, that was what we were doing. Anyway, go ahead.
and so it stresses me out. And so if I got the coffee, I was finding that sometimes I hated it because I'm so picky. I'm like, am I making things up? Am I creating something that doesn't exist in my head? And so I spent $3.50 on it. Sometimes if you keep adding shots, it's even more. No, Starbucks will fix your drink. Shades of Brown will not fix your drink for free.
No.
So I'll say that I've walked out there and I spent $6 and it's like making me feel ill for like black coffee. And so I'm like, okay, so you're spending too much money, you're not finishing it, you don't like it, and there's a Keurig at work. I don't love Keurig, but it's free and I don't have to go through the stress. And so this year I'm not buying coffee on the way to work, and my little spending money has been lasting longer. And so, I mean, it's not like it's a big deal, but it's something. So sometimes you think to yourself, I'm ready to make a change, let me analyze myself and see what I'm doing,
Yes.
and then find a different way to have a good time. You know, when I go down, I found this, when I walk down to the office that has the Keurig, I passed all these people. And so now they know I'm coming. I'm like, hey, Irma, hey, whatever. I go get my coffee. So, you know, whatever. So figure out a way to do it. You can do it. It's just like giving. It's a Christian place, right?
Yeah.
It's just like giving. It's just like giving money to the church or giving money to further the kingdom of God.
Yes.
Everybody can do it. It's just developing the habit of doing it. And honestly, this is what's crazy, because the devil will get you. The more money I have, I feel like it can be the harder to give. You know, because I'm like, whoa. I'm like, okay, that's gonna be a lot. You know, I'm like, that's gonna be a lot. And I'm just like, but yeah. And then I'll be like, tell me exactly what you're doing with this money. I'm like, are we good stewards here? What's happening here? What's happening here? Because I'm like, this is money that I've been working. But anyways, one can give, and we have to give. As believers, we're giving because we. The world is in, no matter how much money they have, they always want more.
Yeah.
They always want more things. There's always someone richer. There's always someone better, prettier, more talented, and miserable. So that there is, and I know enough rich people to tell you having money doesn't make you happy. Now, I think that having no food and no clothes, there's a low that you can get. Having money fixes. But what I'm saying is that there's a study that Candace showed me this. There's a study that went out that the happiest families made about $150,000 in a place like Tulsa. I'm not talking about New York City.
Right.
I'm talking about a place like Tulsa, or a place like, so Tulsa is also often compared to Raleigh, North Carolina. We're very similar. So a place like that, $150,000. Making less, some people had a hard time showing. Making more, the happiness doesn't increase because there's an excess that you start to create things you don't really need. And it's just more and more and more and more. And when you buy something, it wears off. It doesn't matter what it is. You go buy Louis Vuitton shoes, and then in a couple months, they're old. They just are.
Right.
And so that's why God knows us. So He taught us how to give so that it would be easier for us to save, so we can find our happiness and joy not in things, but in experiences with other people, with people in God's kingdom, and with ministering to other people. And so that we can just be these people that are set apart and different. You're set apart and different to be a group of folks that are debt-free. It's another reason why Dave Ramsey's so popular. I love Dave Ramsey because my non-Christian friends listen to him. I'm like, go ahead and listen to Pastor Dave, because that's the most pastor you're getting. He's teaching you to be different because God's people are different.
Yep.
And you read in the Old Testament about the Israelites and all the different things that God put in place for those people. They were different. And they were different with money too.
Yep.
And they were all about having land and inheritance to pass down to people. But anyways, that's too much. So all these things work together, and I think being a believer helps you be on an easier path to saving. Because like I said, you know how to give, and God also tells us it's better to give than to receive. And it's not just, you can't think of the Bible as just laws. He's telling you how to live because He created us. He knows how it works. Secular people, non-Christians will tell you it's better to give than to receive.
Yeah.
The kind of rush you give from giving things to people, you just do. Now, Another thing is, God examines our heart to try to have good motives, not so that you know feeling good about yourself, but it just does. And so, anyways, so to recap, because I'm saying a lot, I just want you to get these points out. You need to have a checking account because you just really can't. It's not logical to think you can operate the world with just cash. That's kind of out there. Have a checking account. Have a savings account, and save about $1,000, which is a base emergency account, emergency savings fund. Then, from the beginning, start your retirement account. That could be a Roth IRA, very simple, through Fidelity. Put as much money as you can in there a month, set it and forget it. After you have that emergency account, start you another investment account with Fidelity. Whatever money you can put in it. It's good. And then, analyze your spending for a month. Maybe try mint.com or just write it down. Just write down your spending and then set your budget and see what is reasonable for you and your budget. Budget your savings in there. Budget your giving in there too. Because if you don't budget your giving, it's all going to be gone. Budget your giving, budget your saving. Your giving is just as important as your saving. It really is. And then analyze your habits. See, if you don't have any friends that are doing this, find some friends that are doing it. There's Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace University, things everywhere. You can join those, whatever. Or you can listen to the podcast. Listening to the podcast is really helpful because you're like, oh, okay. And other money savings podcasts. Well, okay, people are doing this. I'm not strange for doing this. And analyze your spending, set that budget, and just stick with it. And be patient with yourself. And stick with it. And as you have more money, you can increase the percentages of things you're doing. And, okay, if you have debt, let's talk about debt really quick. You want to, and Dave Ramsey talked about the snowball. You want to take care of your highest interest debt first. So if you've got some credit cards out there you need to pay down, put into your budget a payment that you're putting over and above the minimum that you're putting to that credit card. Let's say you can maybe afford, maybe the minimum is $25, you can afford $50. So pay $50 a month on that credit card till you get that credit card paid down, and then go to the others. If you
That's
have
on the highest interest one, right?
on the highest interest one first. If you have a lot of debt, sometimes you can call different credit cards, maybe try to roll them into one, or you can call and maybe get some payments deferred until you pay off a big one. Now this is a little more details kind of stuff that if you have some more questions you might want to talk to somebody a little more with one more time. But take care of the highest interest debt first, put that into your budget, and then as you take care of that, go down the line. Sometimes it's nice to take care of one, maybe high interest one that's small, get a win, and then that gives you some momentum to keep going. So think about that. We need things to motivate us and keep us going. You know, kind of like if you're starting a workout program. You know, you got to get a little win in and keep going. But and then after you're finished with that credit card, don't spend any more on it. I know that it's very popular for people to spend everything on their credit card and then pay it off once a month to get the points. It just doesn't usually work well. You have to have so much discipline, and most people just don't.
Right.
I know if I try to use a credit card and do that like that, I always spend more money. Because using a credit card is not hurting you. A debit card, that's the money you have. You keep hitting it, you're like, at one point it's not going to work. And I have mine to where it should reject me. But a credit card is not going to reject you. It just keeps working. So it's just not a good setup. And the credit card companies know that. Why do you think they give you points and junk like that? They make money off you not paying off your credit card. They're expecting you not to. And they know there's very few people that are going to be super disciplined and only get the benefits of credit cards. So if you're not savvy for that, I wouldn't work it like that. You do have to have credit in order to get a mortgage on a house, get a car payment. If you want a car payment, they're not that fun. But having a credit score, we don't have a lot of good ways for you to build credit without having had a credit card. So if you having one, putting a little bit of money on it and paying off, I mean, I understand you need to have credit, but you definitely don't need 5 credit cards, and you definitely need to pay a credit card off every month. So if you're wanting to get a credit card just to build credit, one good thing to put on, pay your utilities on it, and then pay it right off. Or just buy gas on it, and then pay it right off. So you can build that credit in order that you can have credit for a credit score. Because most people can't buy a house in cash. I would say that yes, I have a mortgage, trying to pay that off, but that's something you need. Car, that's a different story. I mean, some people are willing to just save up money for a car. You definitely don't want to have a car that's going to be in the shop all the time. So sometimes if you have to take out a little loan, maybe you have a little money down, take a little loan out on a car, having a good credit score is going to help you get that good interest rate. So, I know I'm saying a lot of stuff.
It's good.
Awesome.
It's
Thank
so
you.
good.
Okay.
Right.
It's a lot of
So
stuff.
gel.
Yeah, sounds good.
But,
I love your attitude toward money too.
oh yeah, well,
We're gleaning that too.
I've been, I mean, I'm only 33, but I feel like I've been around the block. I've worked with lots of different kinds of people at different levels of money, and I'm looking at the people I think enjoy life the most. It's just not necessarily people that have money. Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most miserable people I know are the poor people. Not because they're poor, just because.
Right.
And that poor is a relative word. What does that mean to be poor? But I'm talking about the people that think it's an attitude.
Right.
But for my husband and I, and it's nice. It's so nice that we're on the same page with these kind of things. What we get the most enjoyment out of is being with people. Now, I do like to I like to take a trip, but I won't put a trip on a credit card. Like, so we'll go on vacations, but I'm not going to go into debt for a vacation. That's money that we've saved up for, and what I do is, like, we took the kids to Disney World for one day. Now, you can do the $10,000 Disney vacation. We did not. We went to Disney. We stayed in this little resort I don't know, at Disney Springs, and it was like right there up Jank, right there, but good enough. And it had this big pool with a little shallow place, and it had a little tiki bar. I could just sit there, drink a little pina colada, watch the kids play the big old slides. All right, that's fine. It was $100 a night, and it was sweet.
Nice.
So, and then it had a free shuttle to Disney World. So we
Just
went,
decided to change.
it's right here. So we went to Disney World for a day, and we played at Disney World, and then we took the kids to the beach for a day. So that trip, I'd say that trip still cost us. I'm saying money out loud just because this is the money, but
Yes.
it probably cost us $2,500. We took Allegiant.
That's not
You
bad.
take your life in your hand when you take
Yes,
Allegiant.
you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You're gonna die. I don't
You
think,
do.
but I don't think any of those planes have crashed. Okay.
You pay for the bolts that snap your seat down.
I know, but you can get to Orlando for $200
Right.
with the bag.
Yes.
So we
With
did
the
take our
bag.
life in our hands out of Allegiant, flew down there, and we took my mother, which was great, and she's super helpful. But yeah, it still cost us $2,500, and I would not put that on a credit card. Some people will
Yeah.
do that, go into debt for a trip and then pay for it all here. That's a choice you can make. If you do that, unless you now sometimes this is when you get deep. You can find a credit card that has no interest for a year, and you want to go on the trip here, $7,000, and you know you're going to get a bonus check here, and you pay it off. You can do that. I would say if you can do that and pay it off without getting interest on you, more power to you. I have no problem with that. It's just making sure that bonus is actually coming.
Yeah.
Make
Sure.
all
Right.
those kinds of
Yep.
things. I would not pay interest on a vacation.
And again, it's the time value of money.
Yeah, you could have put that. I would not pay interest on a vacation. That's not something that I would do. I think that'd be stressful.
Right.
I would rather, if we didn't have the money for the Disney trip, take them down the lake or whatever.
But you also don't have, that I know, I mean, anytime I've seen you, the people that I see you with are people that I know
Yeah.
are extremely giving, generous,
Yeah.
and incredible stewards of their money.
Yeah. At whatever level of money they have.
They would not be trying to talk you into
Sure.
spending a bunch of money on something that you didn't have money for. Like you were talking about the people that you surround yourself
Yeah.
with, and keeping up with the Joneses and that whole thing. That you do have people around you that are like you and your husband are on one accord on that, and
Yeah.
you're like Candace. I mean, she's not.
Yeah, people don't do that. Now you may. I think it's important to have friends at all different. When you talk about diversity, we always talk about race, but all different economic levels and socioeconomic levels. But you don't have to do everything with every single person. Like somebody might have to be at a point in their life where they can take the $10,000 Disney vacation and not go into debt, and I want them to do that. And that's right. I wouldn't be able to go with them, but they can go.
Yeah.
And then when they get back, we can have dinner. So I'm saying it's not a problem, but it's not. The problem is when I want them to think I can go, so I put it on my credit card.
Right.
Yeah.
Trying to keep up.
Yeah.
That's not good. And honestly, a lot of friends that love you, they're not wanting you to do that either. People don't know how much money you have. They're not asking you this kind of question. So you have to be strong. I'll say to people straight up, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't go to that dinner tonight. I'm out of spending money. All my friends know about my spending money. And I was the first of my friends to have a car. And I'll be like, open up the ashtray. I'm like, baby, You gonna get in my car? I'll drive you, but you're gonna give me some gas money because I have to pay for my own gas. I'm 16 years old, cleaning houses, right? You have to pay, you know. So, but I'll be like, no, I'm sorry. They're like, oh, Cassia, you want to come get a glass of wine with us after work? I was like, I'd love to, but I'm out of money. Can you come to my house? I got stuff in my house. I got my cheeses and my crackers, and also I have my kids. When you have kids, you gotta pay. Babysitters aren't $2 an hour anymore, y'all. They'd be like $18 an hour. So I'm like, okay, well I need to save my babysitting money to be out with my husband. So I'm like, hey girl, all my friends know, come over to my house. Come on over. I got the coffee. I got some wine. I got the crackers. I got the cheese. I'll live it up. And I have a lot of people that come over and do that. And I pay for that house. The house is nice. The house is expensive. And I'm like, come on over. We're always, this is my husband and I are like, hey, we're not going out. Party. We pay for this house. My kids would be like, let's go to after pizza. I'm like, no. We're going home.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? We're gonna pack your stuff.
You're gonna go play with stuff.
I'm like, get something out the backyard. I threw a tea party for the kids the other day. They got to bring their little friends Saturday. The little friends over. We had all these teacups that my mother's given me. The teacups are out. I'm like, we're gonna make tea and we're gonna play here, and that's what we did. And all the moms were there. So use your house.
I remember though, this is such a different day, but I remember when I was younger and my grandfather, who was, you know,
He had a lot of money.
he died. They died with a lot of money, but that wasn't the case when he was, you know, in the 20s in New York City and Italian and immigrant and all the things. But I remember when he would come to visit, and it would be a big deal because he would take us to McDonald's, and we would get to pick whatever we wanted at McDonald's, and it was something you looked forward to because we never ate out.
Yeah.
We just never ate out.
Spend the money.
And Bampa's teaching about budget. She's talking about saving and investing and stuff. Bampa is able to do what he does now, my dad.
Yeah, he did.
Taught, yes,
Yeah.
and he taught last week on budgeting. And
Oh,
what you're
yeah.
saying is all lining right up.
Great,
and we
great.
have like Wednesday night we have our financial lab so that we can do
Oh,
what
great.
she's talking about. Where we're talking about, okay, let's not just hear about how we're going to
Yeah.
do this.
Do it.
Put it down. Yeah.
Betty cut her credit card this week. We were
Hey.
like,
Hey.
that's okay. But I mean, she's taking action. I know JJ's saving receipts.
Yes.
Like, we're not just talking about something because I would love if this is an 8-week series. We're in week 3. For people to have savings accounts by the time this is over that didn't have them before, or if it's opened up a little
Well, why don't
investment
this week?
account.
Why don't y'all go to fidelity.com and look around the site? Tell
Yes.
me, look at what I'm talking about.
They
It's-
have an app.
Oh yeah, they got an app. They got an app.
Great.
I think I have the fidelity.
And
app.
How many
Yeah.
credit cards would you recommend?
I think that in order, if you're at the level you just want to build credit, I would just have one credit card, and like I said, find one thing you put on it and always pay it off. So like, you know you got to pay for utilities. Where are they living?
Well, some of them here.
Okay. Something. I think. How about gas? You know you got to buy gas. So I only put my gas on my credit card and I pay it off. You've got it now. You can build credit and not pay your credit card off. Building credit just has to do with paying it on time. But the time value of money is working against
Right,
you.
right.
So you pay it off. So let's say you just put gas on it and you pay that off every month. That will build your credit.
Where's
That alone.
Then go first.
What?
Benjamin?
what?
Benjamin, you,
Oh,
you
you-
go first.
yep.
Oh,
Bishop.
Is there any benefit to a credit card if you're not trying to build credit?
No. Well, yeah. They'll tell you points. You can get points to buy stuff, but if you have a lot of points, it means you put a lot of stuff on your credit card,
Right.
right? Because you've got to put stuff on it to build points, and you can get air flight miles. Once again, you have to have used it a lot. That's why some people like to put everything on their credit card and pay the whole credit card off once a month. You can do that, but I guarantee you will spend more money because buying things on a credit card is just, it doesn't hurt you like using a debit card.
You don't
It's
pay
like-
attention to what it actually
You pay
costs.
attention. You need
Yeah.
to be very, very disciplined. So I'm not disciplined enough to do it. So I can't do it. I can't do that.
And one of the cards I have, I use it's
only for things that I can afford, but it's when I'm on a trip, and I use it specifically like on my rental car because when I use
Okay,
that
yeah.
card,
It pays your
I
insurance.
decline their coverage.
Yeah.
I have full coverage
Right.
insurance
Yeah.
because I
Card.
use that
Yes.
card.
I agree with that,
No,
and that
it's
that
not.
saved me one time
Yeah.
because I wrecked a rental car.
Oh, that's
So
insurance.
it's true if you
Yeah.
pay for the rental car on city, several different
Capital
they'll pay for
One
coverage.
Venture. Weird
Now I
stuff.
think sometimes when you are going out of town or out of the country, it's good to use your credit card. I have used my credit card on some online purchases. It's easier. Okay, let me say it's easier. If let's say someone steals your credit card number or something happens when you buy a product and it doesn't work out, the credit card companies seem to be easier to get your money back than a debit card. And think about it. If you use your debit card online and somehow somebody gets your card number, they could suck up all your money, and that's your money. You know. Whereas a credit card, how credit cards work, it's weird. It's like the money's not real. It's like blah 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 blah. So they'll you got a dispute pending. We'll look at it later. We won't charge you interest. It just sits there. But if they're sucking up all your debit card money, then they might have got your rent money. So I do think it can be safer when you're buying things online to use a credit card than a debit card. You still need to keep the same stewardship principles in mind. Yes, I think using a credit card is safer online, but Amazon's online, so that's dangerous.
Yep.
Because you can just
Hit that button.
oh, and now the computer saves your cards. It's like cash in your money.
Yeah.
And again, I'm like, stop acting like you know what I'm doing. Yes.
Well, I have a American Airlines credit card.
Yeah.
And I got like 67,000 miles as bonus on it.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna use it for a vacation.
Yeah.
But I don't want to use it after that. What's like? Is it
Well-
gonna hinder my credit score?
Do not close a credit card.
Okay.
You never cancel a credit card because then it looks like you have less credit. So the more credit you are afforded, the more credit worthy the powers that be think you are.
So
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
So that if you cancel and say right now if I have $20,000 worth of credit available to me on 3 different credit cards and I cancel one, well then I take away $5,000 worth of credit. That hurts you. So it doesn't matter. But pay the car off and just don't use it.
But yeah, you don't have
You're
to
not
use
supposed to
it.
cut 'em?
You can cut it. You can cut it. Just don't. Cutting it is just to make you not spend it.
Cutting it is for your
I'm talking
own
about
stuff.
don't-
Like she did because she's like, if I
She
have it, I'll
Cancel
use
for
it.
a card?
Yeah, don't
No.
call.
No.
No.
Don't
No.
call the
No.
company and cancel it. At any time, she could order another one. So
She
she's
could
gonna-
order
Right,
it.
right.
someone-
Once
you know
it's
how they
paid
use your
off,
credit
then
card,
then
you don't
doing
catch
the
it.
utilities
What?
Right.
and
What?
paying it
So if I
off.
cut, like, if I have an extra credit card, I'm not gonna look at my spending on that one because I'm not using it at all.
Yeah.
If someone steals them, they start using money on it.
Well, I would check it. I would check.
You
I'll-
can check.
I would
Cut it.
still check it. I would check. Any account I have, even if it's a card I don't use anymore. I got all my cards on my app. My little,
Cancel it.
here it is. There's my. This is my finance part of my phone, accounts. So this Discover card I haven't used in forever, but I still check it every so often.
Yeah.
Because one time I had a thing where I thought I paid something off, and then I go on there and see they're charging me $25 a month for 6 months because $2 was left on it. And I was like, give me back that money. And they did, but that hurt my credit.
Yeah.
And when you get dings to your credit, you can dispute them, and they can fix your credit, but it takes a second.
It takes so long.
We had a problem when we were buying a house we're in right now, that because of the story, the house is actually mine, but we're refinanced, we're doing it. And we were going to do our credit score checks again, and they found out that we had a Cox communication box that was $25 that we forgot to take back to Cox to make sold our old house. So they had put a lien on Joel's credit. He goes, you're gonna, and it made his credit score be very low. That was gonna hurt our interest rate for a house. He called Cox. He goes, you're gonna ruin someone's credit for a $25 box. You didn't even call me. So anyways, we did the house in my name. It's my house. And refinanced it, so he's gonna put his name on it. But yeah, so any account you have, I would say check it once a month. Make sure there's nothing weird on it. Someone could have stolen your thing. Make sure there's nothing weird on it. Yep.
So don't get credit cards anymore extra, ever.
I mean,
I had a question of like where would you, I've never had a credit card.
Okay.
I come from a background with I grew up in Peru.
Uh-huh.
It's cash basis only. There's no credit thing over there. There's no such thing as credit.
Uh-huh.
So coming over here, I did everything cash basis. So
Yeah.
a few years ago, I gave my car back because I was paying $600 a month on it.
Oh man.
It wasn't. At the time I could afford it, but I didn't want to do that every month.
No, that's crazy.
So then I went ahead and bought a cash. So the car that I have I own, no
Uh-huh.
payments, it's mine. But at the same time, that put my credit back a little bit. So last time I applied for a credit card, I got denied. So I'm just like, how am I supposed to build credit if I can't get a credit card?
So Jonathan's gonna come talk about that.
There's
Okay.
there's
Yes.
gotta be a
Yeah,
credit card.
yeah, yeah, no.
Okay,
He's,
okay.
if we're talking about specifically credit things right now, that's Jonathan's
let's-
getting excited and
Great.
preparing to come
Great.
talk about that.
Cool.
I have a question about that though. So if you turn the car back in, did you pay the entire loan off when you did that?
Yes and no. So, cause they resold the vehicle, and then they kept that money, and there was like a couple thousand left.
Where'd you do this car thing?
Huh?
Where'd you do with it?
What I do with it?
So
Where'd
by
you
where-
do it? Where?
Where did I get it from?
Yeah.
Nissan Route 66 Nissan.
Well, I don't know how I don't hear about that. But you know, he could have been. I mean, he could have just been paying payments, or sometimes you rent cars. Were you renting it?
No, I mean, it was mine. It was a 2019
Like a
model.
rent to own?
No, it was rent to
Yeah,
own.
rent it.
Okay, you had a question. I want to make sure people who have questions get to ask.
Okay.
She's gonna be back next week, but next week she's gonna be talking about. Well, you want.
Well, that was started if you wanted to start a business.
Yes.
Oh, that's,
Yes.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot in here that have
have
that kind of mindset. Hey, honey.
All right,
So,
I'm
if
gonna
you
I'm gonna have to go
questions-
soon. So what you got?
It wasn't really a question, it was just like a thing, with my credit card, you can add it to your Cash App.
Okay.
And the way you wanna do that, you can send money to somebody and have them send it back to you, and that's how you can use it to budget, so that's one of the things I do, I send money to my brother sends it back to me,
Uh-huh.
and then I know this is the money I have
Okay.
for this amount of time, and from there, you can even take that money and use your Cash App card, if those who have a Cash App, and you can get cash from there that way. Cause you know with credit cards, you can't do cash back, but if you have the Cash App and you attach it,
Oh.
you can use cash back that way.
Okay. Oh my God, that's savvy. I do have Cash App.
Yeah.
I'm really thrown off because people don't. Yeah, also, you need to have a debit card account so you can have Cash
Have
App.
Cash
Because
App,
I'm
yeah.
always confused when people say they don't have that. I'm like, how am I gonna pay you?
Right.
Sorry, I don't trust it.
You know what I get
You
paid?
paid. And I always have money in cash. If I forget, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have $60 that I have.
Oh yeah, it's in there. Oh yeah.
I found $50 in a jacket pocket the other day.
Great.
A $50 bill. I was like, because I know where my money is. I'm like, what?
What in the world?
My husband's like, you know it's mine. I was like, no, it's not. That's mine.
I was just wondering how many, like, what is the goal for investment accounts? What is the goal for
How many you want?
Have? Like, is there too many? Like,
Oh, there's no such thing as too many.
okay.
Now, you know, think about it like this. You do want to, for the time value of money to work, you gotta have money in there. So if you don't have a whole lot of money, I wouldn't spread $25 in 3 different investment accounts.
Yeah,
You would put them in one.
grow the
Because
same.
you want to grow that 5% or 15% if you're really lucky on $100 instead of $25. So I think that the more money you have, sometimes somebody and the more you understand about investing, you might want to start up another investment portfolio because it's a different kind of mix of investments. And like I said, my father was a stockbroker. I'm not a stockbroker, and I started learning about those things and I quit because I cannot. I have no place left in my brain. So I have to trust that the Fidelity people know what they're doing. I have to, and I'm like, I can't. But like I said, I did start a little fun one for me to mess around with, but I could just see it, just me putting money in it and never doing it, because it's a lot. There's a lot of to work, and I'm willing to pay their fee to have them do it.
Right. Sure.
I mean, that's why when people want legal advice and they are asking for my advice, but then they're telling me things and they're not listening, I'm like, do you want my legal advice? Or did you go to law school? I don't know, because you're not listening to me. You gotta pay. I don't know.
Who do you do your taxes through?
Okay, so my husband does the taxes,
Oh.
and he still uses TurboTax.
Okay.
He probably should not.
So
I mean, it starts
we
getting
do
complicated.
have- We do. When I was at Ori the other day and talking to there is I'm working it out right now, but there's a group there that is gonna offer helping with taxes.
Heck yes.
Cool.
And international taxes and all that stuff. Yes.
I like the place I go.
So
Where you go?
Good.
What's the,
H&M?
I don't remember the name.
What?
Good
H&M?
You like them so much. But anyway, we might even be able to have some people come here and make it easy for everybody.
That'd be
So
great.
we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, TurboTax is nice. I think
One more question. One more question. Anybody?
Oh, for the savings account.
I usually use that
Okay.
website.
I'm not a fan of savings accounts personally because of the limitation behind it.
Uh-huh.
So do you think it'd be a good idea to like someone you trust, like maybe a family member, have them have like access to like maybe a separate account, have them hold the money?
You
a
mean for
certain
your
time?
emergency fund?
Yeah, I call it an asteroid fund because asteroids hit, you don't know what's gonna
And
happen.
that's, oh, it's cute.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that I wanted my family members to own my money.
Yeah, like my mom or my sister, you know, somebody that I know.
Why
I can
do you not
trust.
like savings accounts?
I don't like the limitation behind it.
Okay,
It's
if you
not
don't like
fair.
savings account, then just how about this? Because I'm not having you put in a savings account because it's growing money, because it's not.
Right.
Just put in a different checking account.
Okay.
Have your checking account for all your main bills and open up a different bank account to put your emergency fund in.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting that much benefit out of the savings account. I agree with that. And it is true, if you hit it more than 6 times, you're going to get dinged. But
Exactly.
I wouldn't be hitting it more than 6 times if it's actual savings account. But you can put it in a checking account. I would just say keep it separate. That's the thing. Keep it separate from your other funds so that you know that's the savings. And and that's fine. It doesn't matter.
Awesome.
That doesn't matter. The big difference is between the checking accounts that I'm using money day to day and your investment accounts.
Awesome.
Cool.
I gotta go out there. They're out there in the car.
They're out there and
They weren't right there the whole time.
Oh
I
gosh.
don't know what they did, but I was gonna Uber home and he didn't like the idea. He was like, what? An Uber? I travel for work all the time. I'm like, dude, I've been getting the Ubers up. I have to.
You didn't want you to spend the money.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
They're out there. Okay, so next week she'll be back. If you think of something that we can ask her at the beginning, great. But then the focus next week is going to be on starting a business, the legal
I have
things.
a PowerPoint presentation for that.
Yes.
That means we'll have like notes.
PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So, you can see, yeah.
We'll say.
So I'm going to walk her out and then we're
Yeah,
going to have more time
so